moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch, and I'm trying this video again. I actually got 8 minutes into the other one, and it was getting very ranty. Like I started to get very agitated. It wasn't going anywhere. It was just listening to me bitch, and I don't know how many of you are entertained by that. I don't know. I've got a very odd audience, I think, where some of you, there's a little bit for everybody, right? Nobody likes everything that I post. That's fine, by the way, but it creates interesting. Like I'll roll out something, and like a third of the people will hate it, a third of people love it, a third of people indifferent, and so my channel always has this kind of internal conflict going on. But what I was getting into with that video that I just walked away from is that one of the things that drives me most up the wall about comics is inconsistency. And in this case, not inconsistency of, say, artwork or writing, but inconsistency of behavior. It's the way that, because we live in this super polarized world, and there's a group of fans who fight a different group of fans, and then the creators are kind of with one of those group of fans, but not really. It's this kind of odd little triangle of a dynamic that goes on. We have this just constant flip-flopping battle. I remember very clearly that I had said at one point I liked Next Wave, the Warren Ellis Stewart book that had come out, and I didn't like it as a template for how all Marvel comics should be. And in fairness, a lot of people were inspired by that comic and started writing more like that and being more like that, and that was just awful. I thought it worked fine as a standalone kind of thing on its own that was unique and kind of fun and different. And I think comics needs unique and fun and different from time to time. You don't make everything unique and fun and different. You need, but this was a fairly safe sandbox. People involved in that team didn't have a lot going on, and so it was fine, more or less fine. But I remember saying I liked it, and I remember just being shit on by people on Twitter over that. Oh, that's an SJW Patient Zero comic. Oh, this is that's a I don't remember all the different words. That's a leftist comic. Whatever you want to put. People just hate it. There's one guy in particular, and I think he would drink a lot more toward the afternoon. Yeah, I know, don't throw stones, but he would then go on insane rants, not just angry rants, but like crazy rants. I remember him just screaming at Brian Edward Hill at one point over and over on Twitter, just like the worst stuff. And Hill's like, I'm not going to block you, but God damn it, man, you were pushing your luck. That was, I think Hill used to have a policy of not blocking people. I think that's done now. But anyway, this guy may have been what drove him over the edge. Anyway, I used to take his things that he would yell at me about, and then I would paste them into comic captions because they were hilarious. When this guy, because it wasn't just like you're an SJW. It'd be just like this Shakespearean level of insults that this guy would go through. Anyway, he was like, how dare nobody can say they like Warren Ellis. Warren Ellis is the worst monster to ever walk the earth. Is this guy's point of view. And then the Warren Ellis Me Too stuff came out, and the guy flipped overnight into Warren Ellis is a brave defender of all comics, and he did nothing wrong, and everybody who's attacking him is a commie, and we need to support Warren Ellis. It flipped just overnight. And everybody deserves their own point of view, of course. And you can have one side, you can have the other side, you can have the third side, which is I like some things Warren Ellis does, I don't like other things, and then I don't really care. You can have that side too. But when you flip from one side to the other, it makes me insane. It just absolutely does, because I can't handle the inconsistency. It's just pick a lane, stick with it. Can't just drive randomly down the road. It's nuts. It's annoying when I see that from fans and from customers, certainly when they act that way. It's annoying, but it's maddening and just almost white hot rage for me, maddening when that happens within comics. And when I say within comics, I mean the creators and publishers. And this stuff goes on all the time, where you see creators kind of band together to support people like Eddie Berzenga, who there were people who are giving full-throated, no pun intended, defense of this guy, who would just get into arguments about how great this guy was, about how ethical and honorable and wonderful this guy was. And then suddenly the dam breaks because there's just no way that they could defend that behavior. And suddenly it becomes, he's a monster. And you see some of that with Warren Ellis. That's in part, I mean, make no mistake about it, that's why a lot of people now do the Ellis did nothing wrong, and they're suddenly fans of Ellis after crapping on him for 10 years. That's a big reason why, because they see a bunch of industry pros who previously had been, willing to suck off Warren Ellis. Well, I mean, I was going to say metaphorically, but, also not. They were totally willing to fillet Warren Ellis not metaphorically. Hang on. What do I want to say here? They were very complimentary to Warren Ellis in his pants. But at one point, the dam breaks. There's, I don't know, a decision gets made. We're no longer going to be a part of the Warren Ellis train, no pun intended. And, and now he's a monster. And then suddenly you see the same pros who were giving huge, full-throated, you're with me, right, at this point? Okay, full defense of the guy. Now it's like, well, what a problematic creator. Such a shame. He fell from grace. But this had been going on for years, and they all knew about it. And that's the part that makes me insane. Whether it's Eddie, whether it's Cameron Stewart's another one. Lots of defense of Cameron Stewart. And then one day, he's a monster. And, secrets can come out and people can reveal things about themselves. One day you're kind of a edgy, weird artist. The next day you're killing your wife with a hammer. That can happen. That did happen. And those things are terrible and shocking when they happen. But in a lot of these cases, everybody saw it coming. No pun intended. Everybody knew this was going on, whether it was Ellis, whether it was Eddie, so when it suddenly flips, and then people are like, okay, we're not taking this anymore. I guess on one side of me, I'm like, well, I'm glad finally, I think people have decided to, I don't know, it's not come around, but just like, okay, I guess we're gonna uphold standards of behavior now. Okay, cool. Why today? I don't know, but all right, cool. But on the other hand, I see a lot of people on the creative side. You see it with this new union, making statements like, we need a safer, better, inclusive community for all. And yet they don't mean that. I mean, come on, let's just be honest. They don't actually mean that, because if they meant that, then there wouldn't be blogs and articles and books and documentaries with people like Heidi McDonald talking about what a prince and a little bit of a scamp Warren Ellis is. And then suddenly it's like, oh shit, people are angry with him. I need to get on the right side of this one. Oh, man, he's a monster. Guy's always been a monster. I mean, I don't believe you is the thing. That's what it comes down to. Oh, you're now not going to put up with this kind of stuff in comics? Cool. I don't believe you. And I think that's the pushback I have. I'm not speaking for anybody else. I don't know if anybody else shares this view. But personally, I would like to see a more professional comic industry. I'd like to see one that is more buttoned down. Absolutely, I would. I don't like these stories and I don't like to see it in person. I don't like this stuff. I don't think that, I know a lot of you have come on and say Warren Ellis did nothing wrong. It's fine. It's your opinion. It's cool. But when I see like this kind of shit going on in a comic convention, it's unhealthy. It tends to always cause problems in the end. No pun intended. It always makes matters worse. And so why is it that this industry is willing to put up with it? Okay, now we're done. Now the easy answer, a lot of people have said, is that, well, they put up with it until they don't think it will benefit them, and then they attack. Could be true. I'm sure there is an element of that. No doubt about it. But I also think at some point, comics, this industry, has to look itself in the face and say, you know what? These speeches, these things that we keep telling ourselves comics is all about, we can't say this stuff with a straight face anymore. We just can't. We can't say we're going to believe and support women, but then turn around and go, well, I mean, unless it's one of our friends and she's kind of a whore, then we don't support those women. I mean, we'll support them if the guy gets unpopular. Like, I feel like we need a new code of conduct. You know, those statements that sometimes the creators go out and they publish out. We need like the honest one, which is to say, you know, we do not support racism unless a person's kind of asking for it. In which case, yeah, maybe a little bit. We do not support racism against Asian people half the year, you know, but the other half of the year is it's okay. And you know, we believe women unless the woman's kind of a bitch and we don't really like her, or the person that the accusation's being made against is popular and maybe a little cool and a good lay, then you know, the woman should keep her mouth shut until such time as the guy is not, you know, as good at cunnilingus anymore, and then, you know, then we'll believe her at that point. Like, I would like you to just see, can you just write out the rules that way? You know, just be honest. I feel like I'm in this weird position a lot of the time where I would like to see a better, healthier, safer community, if you will, in comics. I'd like to see shit in better shape. That's what I would like. I don't really feel like there's a side that's that's really going for that. The side that claims to go for it is basically only going for it to the people that, you know, are on the wrong side of kind of whatever the network gossip chain is. The others, fuck them. And the other side is often so reactionary. They're just so angry at the first side that, you know, they're willing to kind of go along with whatever kind of exists if it means, you know, pointing and laughing at, you know, side number one. I don't know. I think it'd be nice if people certainly could work in comics and not worry about some of this nonsense. It would be wonderful. And I think that would be a good goal to strive for. I'm waiting for the point that people actually start working toward that goal. Because it doesn't really feel like people are working toward that goal. That's I guess my point here. It feels like we haven't hit that point where we're serious about the goal. Feels like we're still at a place where we want to be considered really good people for saying we're working against the goal and patting ourselves on the back for it, and, you know, making no mistake, we are on the right side of history. And I mean, I don't know. I think comics are wonderful. They're magical, beautiful things. They stick in your mind. They're great bonding elements with other people. You can talk about them. You can imagine these stories, these amazing characters, all these situations. I love them. I just, God, the people behind them suck sometimes. Not all of them. There's some good people out there, but Jesus. Anyway, you got any suggestions? Maybe in the comments below you can write up your, you know, the Creator Bill of Rights that is the true rules, the ones that actually everybody's living with. Like, you know, we support the rights of LGBTQ creators, as long as they are writing LGBTQ characters that we can easily forget about and not really ever progress or grow or market or promote in any kind of real way, unless we want a headline in the Atlantic or the Rolling Stone. And in that case, we'll promote it. But other than that, they have the rights to characters we don't really give a shit about or will promote long term. Cool. And sign off on that one. Thanks for listening.